on the board now. Sunil Srinivasan Chari, the Managing Director at Rossari Biotech, joins us now to talk to us about the outlook of the company going forward and what's really in store. Mr. Srinivasan, thank you so much for making time and speaking with us. I wanted to begin by asking you about margins because it's been at the lower end for a while now. When do we see them headed back to that 17% mark?
What I feel is that our margins in the last 3 quarters have progressively increased, and we see, better margins in the coming quarters as well.
With raw material pricing declining, will there be a pass-through or a time gap before which you are able to pass on the changes?
As our raw material prices went up, we had a pass to customers. For example, we had a key raw material, which is like acetic acid, which went up from 30 rupees to 120 rupees, and we did not have 400% margins, and we passed on. Similarly, it has come back to the 40s level now, and we will keep on decreasing prices as the raw material prices fall.
Okay, so you'll pass on the benefit of any reduction in the raw material price to the consumers as well. But let's talk about the demand scenario. With respect to the various verticals, whether textiles, HPPC or AHN, how's the demand panning out? And if you can talk to us about the volume offtake that you have been seeing?
So HPPC has been a star for us, and which has grown very well, and we see also a very good uptick in the next year's sales. The institutional cleaning chemicals, the home care, personal care formulations, the home personal care additives business, all seem to be should do very well in the next year. We expect growth in the next financial year as well. We had the highest EBITDA of 168 crores in the first 9 months, which is the highest ever in Rossari history. And we continue to sit on cash. The working capital cycles are ably managed, and the animals and nutrition segment is something which we focus on, and we want to grow and double it in the next 3 years. Similarly, the institutional cleaning chemicals, we see a good demand and doubling in the next 3 years. The textile segment has been a little weak because of the global demand for textiles, and we see the demand being flat in textile for the next 2 quarters, and then our customers feel that the demand from Europe and US for their products should increase.
How is the export market doing, considering that Europe and US market was impacted owing to weaker demand?
Europe has picked up from December, and we see the demand consistently, getting better. US has been, a good market for us in exports. US and the Latin and the South Americas, and we see demand holding up there. So we expect, we are about 24%, and we want to increase the share of exports in our total sales from this 24% to a higher number.
I also wanted to discuss your subsidiary performance, whether it's Unistar or TriStar. What kind of value, accretion you're expecting from these particular subsidiaries, and any synergies to watch out for?
Yes, this is a very, very strong, point in our presentation, where we have been successfully able to integrate Unitop and TriStar very well. In fact, they would be nearly double the sales of, in the next year of last year. And even the EBITDA figures are expected to be double of what it was in the last, in the 2 years earlier when we started talking to Unitop. So we have grown substantially well, and in spite of the finished goods prices falling, we are able to maintain momentum in sales. There has been no surprises. Our board was worried when we went for acquisitions that acquisitions are not successful, but luckily both the companies have turned to be very good bets for Rossari, and we see a good future. The agro segment in Unitop should do very well, in exports and also in the domestic market. And the TriStar personal care additives, we are adding new products at both the sites of TriStar and Unitop. And our R&D center works on using synergies and developing new R&D molecules. At Unitop, we are one of the few manufacturers in the world where we have a kilo scale ethoxylation and propoxylation, which is not available with many companies in the world, not in India, but many companies in the world. And we combined with our R&D center at IIT, we expect to use these synergies to drive growth and profitability in the coming year.
What about the Capex? Are there any plans for future acquisition?
At the moment, there is nothing on the table on acquisitions. In terms of Capex, we are at 55-60%. So for doubling the sales from here, we don't need any major Capex. We will have small Capex of 30, 40, 50 crores a year, but nothing very substantial is on the plans now.
We'll wait back to hear more details on those acquisitions as and when they pan out. Thank you so much, Mr. Srinivasan, for joining us today. With that, slipping into very short break.